blinking.
Futures now. Cheers to that.
All right.
We're actually sitting comfortably in 2023, real time.
Yeah, as good as it gets.
Yeah. And we're, knocking at the cabin door.
Subtle.
Get it out. I know you want to say it.
Cabin in the woods, baby. You knew we'd get to it.
Yeah, just get it out now. M. Night has quite the career. And, his career basically spans my whole life. And yours as well. What was his first flick? Sixth Sense?
First major directorial debut.
Is it? Was it his debut?
Was it? Yeah, I think so.
Because I remember seeing it in theaters.
Really?
Yeah. What, you don't remember me saying this in another episode of the podcast?
I was just letting you get it out.
But it's funny because this is something that we also commonly discuss, is that I would have related more to, seeing this with my dad.
Young Mike.
Something that...
Sorry for swearing, everyone. You're doing a good job. Get a pat on the back.
Yeah. So...
Buttons.
Going to see a movie like Sixth Sense in theaters...
Yeah.
Something that we also commonly discuss is, my dad would have saw this more out of Bruce Willis's eyes, or I was looking out of the movie more of the perspective of the kids, Haley Oswald's.
Haley Joel.
Yeah.
Grew up to be a fine young man.
It was funny when you
Silicon
showed up
Valley.
in The Boys.
Yeah, he's hilarious in The Boys.
Oh, man. Yeah.
He's hilarious in Silicon Valley, too.
Never got into it.
Not your speed?
I don't think I ever watched it, honestly. Might have saw clips or something. I've never actually watched an episode all the way through.
Yeah. It's real funny. Mike Judge.
All right, let's bring it back.
Yeah. We don't got all M. Night.
Yeah. And then it was The Village and Signs.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have the list. But also another great movie, Bruce Willis.
Unbreakable. Yeah.
I loved that movie. Another one that I saw in theaters. And really into comics at the time, so I really dug it from that aspect as well.
Yeah, it was nailing you from all angles.
Yeah. And
hitting all your sweet spots.
That would have been one of my first Samuel L. Jackson movies too, I guess. Lots of noise in Studio A.
You got it. Whitesnake got a new look. David Coverdale. Did you see him in the hallway earlier?
No.
Yeah.
Copperfield?
He's starting to head in that direction.
So derailed. Let's bring her back.
Follow the signs.
And
to the village.
M. Night, he's made more than 10 films, I'd say. Probably more films than Tarantino.
Oh, if you're comparing, yeah, sure. Probably.
And his thing was that he was actually held at such a high bar when he first came out with the twists.
The twists.
It's
Give it that pinch at the end.
When you can't have a... Yeah. Yeah. When you can't get a like a Sixth Sense level twist in, they're like, he's done.
He's
he
lost
doesn't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was great that he was able to start this this universe. Because I didn't even really know what to think of Split when I saw it until at the end when they brought Bruce Willis back into it.
Yeah.
And then it's set up for Glass. And I know people have definitely different opinions of Glass, but I really liked it just because it was so nostalgic for me bringing back these characters.
Yeah. I don't remember all that much about it. Is he mostly in a psych institute at that one for a while?
Yeah, they all get captured. I think the other two are already captured. Or maybe, I can't remember if it shows how all of them are captured, but I know Bruce Willis gets captured and brought into the psych ward. And it's Sarah Paulson, I think, is the...
Oh, doctor.
Yeah.
Psychologist?
Yeah, turned antagonist.
Right.
She's definitely pulling the strings. She's kind of like an Amanda Waller in Suicide Squad.
Which one?
Amanda Waller, the one that organizes. She's in Suicide Squad 1 and 2. And then in Peacemaker, the supporting cast is actually the daughter of. She's played by Viola Davis.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that the movie at hand. It's funny that the movie...
Trying to come up with new sayings, are you?
It's funny that the movie at Knock doesn't have much of a twist. Or any twist. But,
Ooh.
I think it built a level of suspense because everyone's kind of thinking there's so many twists that could have happened.
The twist is no twist?
Yeah.
Just a disappointing knuckle?
I didn't think it was disappointing at all. But I'm not saying that. If you can't, not that he can't live up to it, but, if everyone's going to be on your ass so much about these twists, whether you can live up to your old expectations, just give everyone a fuck you and just do something else. And I thought he did, this was a very successful film. And, because I saw Old. And Old...
Oh.
I liked this more than Old.
Yeah.
And that was him, trying to have, put a twist at the end.
Well,
and I know that got a lot of flack as well.
All I saw was the making of Old. I might have been searching for making ofs on YouTube when I came across it. It's all takes place on a beach.
Yeah.
Maybe you can confirm or deny some of these details.
That's true. You got it.
All on a beach?
Yeah.
One location?
Yeah. I think the characters have some flashbacks and stuff.
Alright.
Fan of a flashback he is.
You do all the movies one location with flashbacks elsewhere?
No, just these two.
Alright. That I know of. That we know of.
Yeah. Has this... If only this movie came out a couple months ago, maybe we would have watched this before we went away.
Couple of months ago. It was only a couple of weeks ago.
No. Yeah. 2 weeks ago.
Told you.
3 weeks ago.
Time travel will give you the mind bends, man.
Mind bends indeed. Yeah, when we're traveling through years, what's a week or two?
Right.
But also, before we really get into the film, I want to talk a little bit about Dave Bautista, who is the lead character of this. When was the first
Give
time,
it to me.
When was the first time you saw Dave Bautista?
Well, I was scrolling back through his filmography. Wrestling game. And
Game, wrestling game.
And
Guardians game.
Guardians. I don't know if that was the first time I saw him. Played him in some games for sure. Or fought against him maybe in a career mode if I tackled that for a few.
Don't like him?
Got nothing against him, but you find he was half bland as a wrestler, or you were into him. What?
No, I would.
You want to bring it back further, brother?
I didn't really watch him peak as a wrestler. I think I got out of wrestling like right before. I don't remember him ever having like a championship. But the first time I ever saw him, it was when the Dudley Boys went solo. And Devon Dudley did this. He was like a pastor.
All right.
Or he was
turned to God after the relationship ended, huh?
Yeah, just Brother Devon, or something like that. And then there was Deacon Batista, and there was this big jacked motherfucker, shaved head.
Also took the God route.
Yeah.
They turned away to God.
He'd walk around with a donation box with like a big chain around his neck and this donation box, and he would just stand there while Devon would get on the mic and do these huge gospel kind of sermons.
Hey.
But then he ended up in a stable with Ric Flair, Triple H, and Randy Orton. I know that, and that's the last time that I would have saw him as a wrestler.
Do they talk about stables ever on wrestling? In games, there's stables.
Yeah.
You come across that term quite a bit. But in real life, they're not. You don't hear Jerry the King Lawler out there like, "Oh, look at that stable."
Oh yeah, they talk about
more of a Jim Ross or something.
Factions. Maybe they changed it to. Like you hear them call it factions, but definitely back in the day, they called them stables, like DX. And corporation and stuff like that.
The corporation was a stable.
Oh yeah, big one. And they
nothing stable about wrestling.
Cross-contaminated with the Ministry of Darkness.
No way.
Yeah.
Heaven versus hell.
Heaven versus hell.
Damn.
Do you think the first thing you would have saw Batista in was Man of the Iron Fist, maybe?
I didn't see it. I remember RZA. This was after he shadowed Quentin.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I don't think I saw it.
The RZA's directorial debut.
Right.
Actually.
It was back in 2012.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I saw on the list.
And it's heavily inspired by old school Japanese kung fu films, which the whole Wu-Tang Clan actually grew up on, because it's so heavily in the first and second season of the series.
Didn't they grow up in Shaolin?
Yeah, well, that's why they call it Shaolin. That's why they call it the Wu-Tang Clan. There's actually a movie
called that exact same
Wu-Tang
thing.
Clan versus Shaolin.
Yeah.
And Lords of Wu-Tang right there. Jet Li.
Humble brag.
Yeah. That's one out of the Jet verse.
Yeah.
Jet Li verse.
Nice.
The Jet Li verse. And yeah, I think Dave Batista really shows a bit more of his chops in this one. Because, and they just kind of use him as they do a lot of wrestlers in movies with the Man with the Iron Fists. And also in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's kind of a character that you'd expect them to give to an ex-wrestler.
One with limited range.
Yeah, and just like the funny big guy, tough guy, strong guy, you know what I mean? The strong man.
Yeah, he's a muscle.
Him playing Leonard was something completely different. And I'm so surprised. So now are we just getting right into it, or anything you want to say before we start the show?
Let's get situated. So we find ourselves on a lonely red dot in New Hampshire.
Yeah. Give it to me.
Yeah. Out at the cabin. Or the cabin at the end of the world.
serious kudos on your behalf.
Oh, man.
Picking up the novel.
I think it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
For people that want to know the difference.
I do.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
I was actually curious I didn't get to look into when the novel actually came out. And I was kind of like, I'm wondering if it happened post-pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Makes you think.
Yeah. And it's very modern, the movie anyways. But you never know how those adaptations can go. Because I was also wondering, like, it'd be really cool if this was like a 80s novel. Like completely before pandemic. Or a lot of the things that they touched on, technology and stuff like that they touched on in the film.
Right.
Because I was very curious of some of the things, if they even made the novel, or if it's more just like a lot of things that they left out of the film, which I'm sure is usually more the case, more commonly.
Right.
But yeah, Red Dot.
Red Dot. Lonely Red Dot in New Hampshire. So we're out here. We're catching grasshoppers.
Naming them. Categorizing them by color and size.
Yeah. All generally, what is that? Entomology? Grasshoppers? Insects? Anyway, abutting one of them.
Yeah.
When?
Just
having a sit down.
A young Chinese girl with a cleft lip.
Mm-hmm.
Scar on her face.
Yeah.
And then almost instantly, this Leonard character appears out of the woods.
Leo!
I was actually surprised how quickly. Like, I was actually like, okay, I'm happy that this is just getting right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is a lot of flashbacks in this, but there's like some flashbacks that could have just been used as an intro to the film.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely could have like built up
arriving there.
Yeah, exactly. They could have built up what happened right before this happened, but they definitely could have shown everything leading up to this scene. But I'm really happy that they just brought it in, and I found the pacing was so good that it just picked up right away.
Yeah. And
when they're face to face, like those close-ups were like too close for comfort of Dave Bautista's big fucking fat head.
What is that? Does he walk around with that on the regular?
His face that big?
Well, you can't change a face. Maybe M. Night did a little fiddling, but the top of his head, is it
that ball sack like?
Well, if we're talking to a police sketch artist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how his head looks.
That's weird. I never noticed that.
Mm.
I didn't know if it was just for the character or what. But he normally rocks a bald head, right?
Yeah, well, I know like when he wrestled and stuff, he always had like the kind of like spiky hair or something like that. But, for the past, like ever since Guardians, I'm pretty sure he's been rocking the shaved head.
Yeah.
But you don't see the back of his head very often, I guess.
Mm.
And even those glasses just seem like too small for his head. Like, I don't remember his face being that wide, actually.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell he put on weight. Like, especially in the holiday special of Guardians. He looked way bigger than he did in either of the movies.
Right.
So he's definitely either, I don't know, bulking up, I guess you could say. Because I know he's actually doing MMA and stuff now.
No way.
Yeah. But, like, Caitlin was actually pretty creeped out by watching this scene. And just, there's something to be said about this, monster of a man that could probably, like, rip your arms out of the sockets.
Tattoos.
But, yeah.
Sleeved up.
Yeah. And actually, Speaking of which, when they shake hands, do you notice he actually has a Wu-Tang tattoo on his finger?
I didn't know.
I don't know if that's... I'm sure they're all real tattoos. They didn't have to add for the movie. So I'm guessing that he actually does have a Wu-Tang on the ring finger.
Right.
But yeah, being so like soft-spoken,
Protect
and
your neck.
passive and stuff like that. Like I found that really creepy.
Being a nice guy, but you're right. That's real stranger danger shit. The way he just comes out of nowhere.
I used to collect grasshoppers too, and he's like catches one right away, and it's instantly like, oh, well, he's good at that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should befriend this guy. And that's what he says. We're gonna be good friends after this.
Yeah.
When? What's your name? My name's Leonard.
Nice to meet you.
Eerie. Yeah. She talks about she has 2 dads.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Daddy Bob and Daddy Cedric. And the reason that she calls dads by name is so, it doesn't get confusing. It doesn't have to say Dad 1, Dad 2. So it's Daddy Bob and Daddy Cedric. And, you see him react when she says that. There's definitely question of if he knew that it was a gay couple in the cabin or not. But I don't think he did. I don't think it plays into the story, at least in the movie.
Well,
just as he tries to say, just as he tries to explain to Wen what's going to happen, he has a couple other friends coming out of the woods as well. And this is like bringing up a little bit of us, bringing up a little bit of
Strangers.
Strangers. Yeah, great movie. She goes running into her parents, and these guys start knocking on the door, being real polite.
7 knocks.
Kind of like
equal sounding levels.
Yeah.
But in the book, he probes her a little bit more. It's almost word for word, some of the stuff that he says. Most of the lines in the movie are actually said there in the book, or some iteration of it. But he does go into detail about the scar on... I don't know what Bob and Cedric, which one is which, but there's Mindhunter, and there's
Jonathan Groff,
the other guy from Spoiler Alert.
Bring back Mindhunter. Bring back Mindhunter.
Now,
Oh,
do you want to see that?
man, I need some more Mindhunter.
But
Bring back the Fincherverse.
Do you yearn?
I yearn. I couldn't help but imagine the reverse peephole in effect of this cabin. As the 4, anonymous are outside trying to talk their way in very calmly as soon as they know that they're not going to be able to be let in. They start surrounding the house, tie them up.
As you do. Yeah, they break in.
Yeah. And
scuffle. Yeah. So in the book, this debate, this back and forth, there's a touch of it in the movie. But Sabrina is one of the characters.
Yeah.
Oh, and the things, they say they don't have weapons. They have tools. Yeah. And it's described more as like a scythe. Like the Grim Reaper has.
It's a little scythy.
Mm-hmm.
The axe is more of an axe, but I can see why they might call it a scythe.
Mm-hmm. And a hammer.
Hammer and then a mace. Something with a mace on the end of it.
Right. So they call them tools.
Yeah.
It's not meant to hurt them in the book. And they're going back and forth. Sabrina's introducing herself like, hey, I'm Sabrina. Similar to how she's acted in the movie, actually. Yeah. And Yeah, they're going back and forth and they do surround it. But at that point in the book, they bring up the gun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're going back and forth and you're thinking what the dads are thinking.
Mm.
And Eric goes back and he does. Cedric.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good way. That sounds like Eric.
Yeah.
Right. I got confused, but Cedric.
He's the one that liked the armor.
They have names?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck me. Now that's a revelation.
I think it's Puerto Rican Day. Bob! He's burning the flag.
Oh, shit. I didn't even catch on to their names being in that.
Mm. I had to look it up.
That's a good admission.
Yeah.
Glad I was able to draw that out of you.
I wasn't gonna let you burn like that.
This is a tough one though, but good pull.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. So he's going back and forth, right? And that's when he's remembering how he went to the gun range and stuff. And they're talking about the gun and when he got the gun.
Mm.
And he said they didn't want him to bring it and that he left it in the SUV.
Mm. Okay.
Very early on.
I can't really remember when the gun was really brought into the film.
It's just when he goes for it.
Yeah. So I didn't really notice. Even I think maybe I did know that he was in this film. I can't really remember. But you can't really see his face until he busts through a window. That my note says Rubbery Grint. But I'm pretty sure his name is Rupert Grint. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but I think he plays Hermione.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them.
I can't even remember his name from the movie, but it's like Rupert Grint.
Yeah, it's Rupert. And he seems...
Ronald Weasley.
He seems a little more ticked off than the rest of them. It's really weird that this guy seems to play similar roles ever since he's out of Harry Potter. I don't even know if he was like a depressive in Harry Potter. But after seeing him in that Ed Sheeran video, where he's like his stalker.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then
of course.
There's another film, I can't remember what it is. I don't even know if I watched it, but I saw like the trailer of it, it's a TV show. And it's actually a remake of something. Oh, it's the Snatch TV show.
He's in that?
Yeah. I've never watched it. I've just seen like a trailer for it or something. But
I totally forgot about that.
He looks really like similar to what he looks like in this.
A little bit scruffy.
Yeah, exactly. So, these four characters, now that the parents are tied up.
All for $8?
The four characters are standing up in front of them. And we got a mother, a nurse, a witch, and a wrestler.
Allegedly.
No. We got a nurse, a mother, a teacher, and a redneck homophobic alcoholic. Yeah.
Young Ron Weasley.
I feel like none of these people go to the same meetings. But here they are, a group of four.
A lovely foursome of the apocalypse.
Yeah. You were just glancing through a couple notes. Or what was that you brought up on your phone? Some cliff notes?
Yeah, at the end of the book, it had some supplementary information on some of the chapters. I didn't quite make it to it.
I saw yellow and red.
Oh.
My eye was instantly drawn to that. And that's something that... Because I watched this twice.
Right.
And the second time, I was more trying to look at it from look at it in a different lens, more of a filmmaker's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And they all had like significantly different palettes of wardrobe. You know, they all were definitely had different schemes, and I know that that's something that we've even tried to bring in to film. people wear different colors.
Yeah,
that
but
bring out, like,
they were dressed similarly, right? Like
similarly, but
button
like,
down shirt and
but one's wearing white, one's wearing red, one's wearing yellow, and one's wearing a rather perfect blue.
oh,
And
bon pull.
look at it's not really a stretch, because if you look at who's the most ragey character out of the four, it's definitely the one in the red.
Weasley?
Yeah,
Just a complimentary color, no?
I guess with a do like that.
You overthinking this?
But no. This is why I know that this must be for keeps. Is because the second time I watched it, I also noticed that in a flashback, it's the parents and Win. I think it must be like either when they're just showing up or after they jump into the water.
Right.
First time they come to the cabin,
Mm-hmm.
it shows them like unpacking the car or something.
Yep.
And they have these 4 buoys in a tree.
I did see that.
If you look at them, it's the exact same colors. Like, it even has like stripes on them that are like the color of like the pants of the characters. Like I might be tripping. Like, I gotta watch it a third time maybe, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not reaching here.
That's interesting. I did notice the buoys. Good you took the time to notice the color distinction of them.
Yeah.
Was that early before they arrived that it showed that shot? Or was it later on?
No, it was definitely after.
Because
It's hard to remember exactly where the flashbacks laid, because I thought that the one where they went swimming was the earliest.
yeah,
I don't think it was there. It was either
it was the fathers dating to disapproving parents.
It might
was
have
the
been-
earliest, I think.
It might have been after the boogie shoes scene.
No, that was a little bit later on. I was going to bring that up actually because of the lack of music that was really in the movie. And then it had that.
Yeah.
And then it had another song.
It was the just showing up scene, like the first time they saw the cabin, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Unpacking the car.
It was down the road a little ways in the movie, I think, when they went back to do that. He had to take out his cell phone, something like that, before he jumped in. It was a nice family event. Why do you want to bring that up? Sorry.
Oh, because, there was a lot of contrast in the two's character, I found. And I think there was a thing about, like, breaking stereotypes a little bit, especially of what would be the stereotypical couple.
With Eric?
With Eric, yeah. Because
But it was in
Yeah.
response to something.
you think that, like, right off the bat, when they jump into the lake, one of them's just like, throw the shirt off, don't even think about it, don't even hesitate,
And one's
just jump right in.
Yeah.
And then the Eric slowly goes up. You don't even know if he's gonna. It almost looks like he might. Like, this is something that you might assume is that he's gonna be like, guys, just get out. Like, he's wearing a nice suit kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the other guy was just t-shirt and shorts.
Button down.
But he jumps in with his clothes on.
Yeah.
And later on, like, you kind of find out that, Andrew isn't the more free-spirited one. He actually holds a lot more grudges and kind of has a lot more pent-up anger. Isn't as open-minded as that scene might make you believe.
Mm-hmm.
Where Eric is actually the open-minded one.
You're very confident with him.
Yeah. And, like, even though that he's kind of incoherent for some of the movie, like, he's still got a good grasp on. He's kind of the more grounded of the two.
Is Andrew the one who gets the gun? Who did you say was the sensible one? Mindhunter?
So, spoiler alert, in the the jumping into the water scene
Yeah.
is the one who's like shirt off, running in, no hesitations, jumps right in the water.
Right.
Mindhunter.
He's the sensible one there?
Is wearing nice clothes. You think that he'd be the closed-minded one.
I couldn't remember who was the one who didn't jump in, to tell you the truth.
But he did. And, I think there's a little something with, like, he didn't have to derobe or anything like that. He just jumped in. He's almost, more comfortable the way he is than Andrew.
Yeah.
And
then spoiler alert.
Yeah. So you think that spoiler alert's going to be the more open-minded one, the more free-spirited one, but it's actually quite the opposite once you get to know these characters, because spoiler alert holds a lot more grudges and has like a bit more pent-up anger, where Mindhunter seems to be very content, and especially when it comes to these intruders, even seems more open-minded to hearing what they're saying and maybe believing a little bit.
Yeah, but Eric spends most...
Got this now?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Eric spends most of his time after getting kicked in the helmet by crazy Joe Davola there. He spends most of his time on the bench.
But even there's some character building, even when he's half unconscious. You know what I mean? The little bit that you get from him, even just how the others are interacting with him. Like, even the way that, spoiler alert, is kind of taking charge.
Andrew.
But not getting anywhere, really. And that's what at least that's what it wants you to believe, is that he's almost making things a lot worse. He's making the wrong choices, potentially. Because we didn't even get to, like, the actual task at hand.
You know what? I'm going to preemptively agree with that.
So, that's just a little theory I had about these two characters.
Yeah.
But we can bring them back to...
let's figure out why the hell we're here.
What are these four...
sons of bitches.
Gotta say.
These fucking...
Four...
Mansoneers.
Yeah. Cult. Is cult the theme of this season or what?
I don't know what their deal is. They come here looking for what?
I don't want to go back to back theories, so why are these chumleys and chumlets out here in the middle of nowhere?
There's 3 people that currently occupy the cabin on a regular basis. 4 strangers come. One of the 3 that pre-existed in the cabin must die to prevent the apocalypse, because their pure love as a family needs a sacrifice.
Yeah, so either they can save the world and sacrifice one of them, or they can live together and watch the world burn around them.
Duct tape instead of rope, or rope instead of duct tape.
It was rope in the film.
Yeah, it was.
It was duct tape in the novel, like specifically?
I can't remember. I wrote it in my note there, but I put by the book. But I might have written it backwards. So these 4 are introducing them to each other. You have Redmond.
Yeah.
Who's Harry.
Rubbery Grint.
Yeah. Grint, you're right. And you got Leo, the big dude, the muscle.
It's funny that Red, we'll call him, actually, I feel like his name gets said the most. Because there's a whole subplot with him involved.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what it is. But Leonard.
You want to know what it is he's really O'Banya.
O'Banion, yeah. That's what it is. It is something like that.
O'Bannon.
I didn't
or Brian. I'm not sure. Murphy?
Murphy? Fuck. We're recycling them now. And then, so Sabrina, and what's the other one?
Adrienne.
Adrienne. Okay, cool.
They all pretty much suck.
So, obviously, these people are disbelievers right away. Like, you guys are just crazy. You guys don't know what you're talking about. We're not going to sacrifice one of ourselves. Get the fuck out of here. Leave us alone. Don't hurt us.
Yeah. And I just want to say that I like the way that this was shot as well. These scenes.
Yeah.
With the, it was like half dark and, it's skipping sides on each side of Batista, who really fills half a frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it works to great effect in this one. I kind of like that stuff.
Yeah.
I started thinking about it at that point a lot.
Yeah. It also did remind me of Strangers, the ending of Strangers, where Liv Tyler's tied up and they're all standing in front of her.
Yeah. It's a very iconic part of it.
Yeah.
These guys are here on a whim, right?
Yeah.
So if you had lucid dreams, right?
Yeah.
And you followed it to the point where you met up with a couple of strangers, would you think that was sort of a fate thing? Like, how do you think you'd react to that scenario? Because they're not religious.
In a dream?
Well,
okay.
they...
I know what you're saying. Yeah. From the sorry.
What brought these four cats together?
I've definitely had strangers in my dreams before, not knowing who the fuck they are, but never have I dreamed about someone and then met them on a chat room. I think it said how they first got in contact, and like that's never
message board.
Yeah, that's never happened.
No, but that's because they're following the trail of why am I having these dreams.
True. But you're asking me how I would react to that?
Mm-hmm. You think if you met up and there was people there and you saw Dream TV and you...
If I had a dream with someone and something happened...
Like, say you're in...
I was in contact with that person that says they had the same dream, I would buy into it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Would you buy into that? Yeah. It's convincing a little bit, right?
Yeah.
The twists in this one really come from the belief, disbelief sort of theme that kind of runs through it, I think, a little bit. In the movie, at least. Especially with current climate stuff, which I'm sure you'll want to, as we get through it there.
That's what really made me wonder if this was a post-pandemic, or maybe this is why M. Night Shyamalan really picked up this novel to do post-pandemic.
It is fitting.
Because of the plague being the...
Sklovish?
The whole...
Well, there's a bunch of different stuff happening.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about, quickly glaze over some of the disasters that occur in this thing. Actually, we'll get to it in a minute here.
Yeah. All I gotta say is, no wonder Ron Weasley's always so depressed nowadays, because it seems like he's always taking the shaft.
He's a southern man in this. Yeah. I was listening for the accent.
Yeah. He bags up. These guys got to show they're for keeps.
Oh, the Toque of Death, as we call it here in Canada.
Yeah, the Toque of Death. Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes Phyllis face.
That sounds problematic.
He puts on his Phyllis mask.
Still a problem? No.
She's getting big. She's catching on.
Fixed it.
Nice.
Double penetrated with this thing. And then a third... Uncle Leo comes with the third shot. And...
Decapitated?
That shot...
Yeah.
Isn't that a weird... With the tip?
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to go back and see.
It's kind of what you wanted your intro to being modern.
A little bit.
That's how you pitched it to me. You're holding an axe.
But does the camera spin? Like, I couldn't quite follow it if like the frame tipped. It's a very unusual.
I think the camera tilts. It does a full 90-degree angle as he brings it up.
That could very well be.
Yeah.
It was very unusual,
I
and it
don't
gave
know
you a sense of inertia with it, just the way
I
it
don't know if
twisted.
yeah.
I thought that movie was going into a different dimension when it did that cut.
Yeah.
It didn't really do too much of that ilk throughout it, but
No, it was just that one shot, and I dreamt up.
take down Red Man, and you know what I think is stupid
Yeah.
is he goes into
Let's dispose of the body.
yeah, actually I did want to mention that part with the disposal of the body.
Yeah.
And that's a bit more drawn out in the book, but in the movie what I was taken with was for the tiredites out there.
Yeah.
You know, we're following the reloaded ears or after all the damn it. There was a Matrix red pill thing earlier. Meant to give them a nod. Lost it. We'll see if we can get you later on. But the tiredites right now getting the nod. So he shows them dragging them by all the windows.
Yeah.
That reverse, like, voyeuristic looking in the windows. You're seeing out from within.
Yeah. And also, yeah, because he's like, I don't want you to have to see the body. Like, we don't want to have to look at that.
Yeah.
But then he's dragging it out, and you can see it, and you can see it, you can see the root. You know exactly where the body is. So it's kind of keeping the geography.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, as you can, in a voyeuristic fashion. Exactly, like, because later on, one of the characters goes looking for the body.
Yeah.
It shows the geography of exactly where they are.
So
So then they go
so
throw on that 75-inch plasma LED or whatever it was.
yeah, overcast warning.
Overcast warning. Yeah.
On the news.
This whole thing has completely been stolen.
On the you
From
damn
Overcast. What was that? 2012?
Yeah.
Way before this book came out.
way before. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Some of the similarities you felt.
Yeah.
Um,
You see M. Night Shyamalan classic cameo. Remember what he's selling?
Newspapers.
Air fryers.
It's way off.
Also, stole that from us. In our first episode, Good Morning, we're trying to sell air fryers.
No way.
Yeah, he stole my move. He's stealing our moves, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so overcast warning. News says there was something. They said they had plenty of warning. I noticed that around that time. Oh, yeah, so I was really wondering at this point, were more people going to show up? Did other people have this dream? And other people... Because I remember at times in my life, it doesn't matter how many lucid dreams I'm having. I can't afford to go on this mission.
But they didn't. They showed up together, though.
Yeah, I know.
It
But maybe they're just
It
the
would've
first to arrive.
it would have been weird if... Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know
I
if
can
this
see
was
that.
going to be
That'd be
a whole bunch,
It also
a whole syndicate coming.
It also would have been cool, but that would have been a long movie if they all showed up one by one, and they all didn't know why they were there.
Yeah.
But it would have been too much of, them being like, "I know you, you were in my dream," and all this stuff. That's what I like about this film, is that it's getting right to the punches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's throwing combos. It's going Tommy Fury
Oh.
on Yeah, our Jake Pauls.
While the apocalypse just throws over looping rights,
Yeah, exactly.
overhanded punches.
Yeah, because it is a short film, but
Spoiler alert.
the pacing keeps up.
Yeah. So it shows this video of a tsunami. Man, that tripped me out.
The sea was angry that day, my friend.
Oh, boy.
Like an old man trying to bring soup back at a deli. But yeah, that was quite the tsunami.
So what did you think? Like, the camera was a little too good to be at the beach during that tsunami, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the person runs for a minute, right? But then just really takes that wave, just stops.
Yeah.
Like, who stops just to film it? And this...
I'd be gone.
Yeah.
I'd be gone.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't take the time to be turned around filming either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care about my phone.
You don't just stand there and take that wave, man.
Yeah. No. I remember...
So I thought that was a little weird. Took me out of it completely.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. But, that's film, baby.
Yeah. And then it finally does play that boogie song after that.
Yeah.
Which was the first time I really noticed music being in the film. It might have had some earlier on.
The only song I really remember in the whole thing.
There is another song. I'll see it here somewhere. But there was that thing, that weird stuff with the news and time 4 hours earlier.
Yeah.
When it was aired. So, what did you think about...
Oh, yeah? It was old news?
It was old news.
Slow news day.
No, it was a busy news day. And actually, you know what? One thing that's different about the book is it takes place over 2 days, I think, and not 1 day. I'm pretty sure the movie didn't take place over 2 days, did it? It was just one go? An afternoon affair?
No, because it was every 4 hours. So it would have at least had to be 12.
Maybe I just
16.
didn't realize the way time was passing in it.
Yeah.
'Cause it felt like it was one, but maybe it was.
But I found that for a short film, it felt like you were in that cabin for a long time. It is always the effect of having these one location films, which
Kind of like old, right?
we haven't shied away from.
No.
In our filmography. The Reservoir Dogs, you feel very contained. You feel like you're really in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that this gave you that same feel, and it felt like it was a lot longer than it was.
The one location thing, and then it does have the flashbacks and the news events.
After this, the Three Horsemen.
Yeah.
They kick Sting out of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is funny because as they're like in the house together all this time, in the book, he's trying to get out the whole time and saying things like, "Oh yeah, the table leg looks a little wobbly. Why don't I just run down the Home Hardware and grab a piece of wood and I can fix that right up?" And he's angling at all these sort of different ways.
But the Three Horsemen are like, "This must be hard for you. How about you guys just get some sleep?" They're all a bunch of good cops, really, except for Banyan.
Yeah.
And
he's dead.
Batista comes up to Eric and is like, "We'll do anything to help you out in the next couple hours until the next one."
Keeps checking his watch. I don't know if it's broken. Did he get it out of a garbage can, this Leo?
He says, "For the rest of today and tonight, we will tend to every need within reason." It's kind of like, I'm not going to blow you.
Yeah.
But everything else, you need a glass of water, let me know.
Bathroom break.
Yeah.
I like to take my shirt off when I poop, thank you. Can you accommodate?
Notice that the last thing that Banyan said before he got popped was "You did this."
One of the Sabrina?
Like I think Banyan might have said it right before he got popped. It was like, "You did this," and then they hit him.
If you have theories that all this message board and stuff gets precipitated, because now they're finding out that he remembers O'Banya from a bar fight where he got cracked up the side of the head and turned him into this animal in the gym, learning how to box, shooting guns. In the book, he's gotten a little bit bigger, shorter hair since it happened. Didn't recognize him right away, but he changed his whole life.
Banyan did in the book.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, in the movie, they say, go check his ID. He's this guy. This will clear everything up.
Yeah.
And you guys can fuck off. But in the book, it's the same sort of scenario, but they go back and forth a lot more in a more logical way.
Yeah.
Where, what's his name is entertaining. Leo's entertaining the idea a little bit.
Yeah.
And Sabrina's also, I believe, wondering a little bit about it too, and if they should do it.
Yeah, I think at one point she's actually questioning everything.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of weird
because the message board order.
She's like, did I actually have this dream?
Yeah, because after she's on the message board, all of a sudden, she kind of groomed into thinking this way. Doom scrolling.
And then 4 hours go by, and Adriana gives her little speech, her little pitch.
Yeah.
About nothing.
Charlie. Oh, before she just had cats. Now all of a sudden she's got a son too.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things. There's so much up for debate in this film. They're trying to... they're really trying to call these guys on their bullshit.
Yeah. And it's really a believe me basis.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's doubled down. Charlie loves pancakes.
Who doesn't?
The family kind of gets what's up now and braces themselves accordingly. So she puts on her little blinder there so no reality can seep through.
Phyllis mask, once again.
I'm not sure if that's made of nutria or...
Pretty sure it's mole hair.
Yeah. Does this take place in I think they mentioned it 2021 in the movie, which is just a hard year to convince anybody of anything. Or vice versa, pandemic depending on, whatever side you're on. Yeah, so it's just a real tough year for breaking spells, even for the guy from Harry Potter, as you can see. Now that what's her name is down.
Adrian.
Yeah, she took one for the humanity team.
Yeah.
Then the flu hits. The big...
Predominantly taking out children, which seemed on the side of disbelief to think about this from all sides, because there's so much to debate, and they're kind of thinking like, well, these are doctored video clips. That would have been the one that was like, okay, they know these guys have a kid. They're really trying to push, not in the way of killing the kid, but like, you have to kill one of yourselves.
Yeah.
Because children are dying. You love children.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all what you went through to get a kid.
Yeah.
You obviously wanted a kid. Because it seems so like personal. It's like now they're really trying to dig into these characters' hearts. So is this one like a sick game?
Well,
or is this actually happening?
The mine hunter gets mine hunted here because he starts seeing a figure.
I did notice that flashing light. Because you even see it flickering in his eyes, kind of.
But he's concussed.
I didn't see a figure or anything like that.
Yeah. But he's half-pantsed, yo-yo-mying around. Really, this is all Elaine's fault for taking off to Europe with the psychologist.
Yeah. Yeah, the therapist. Yeah, she went to Tuscany. You ever wanted to go to Tuscany?
Of course.
What about you, Phyllis? You ever think about going to Tuscany? Sure hope not.
Pleading the fifth.
As she usually does.
Oh, yeah. So now in the movie, you see the gun for the first time, which is probably a good choice because it was really early on in the book. Like, first scene, basically, when you're hearing this all through Wen's perspective for the most part. She knows about the gun right away. She's talking about it. It's got a thumbprint thing in it. But now they have that scuffle there. Spoiler alert, runs out to the SUV. I think Wen went out and running at one point too and got dragged back. Didn't make it too far.
Creates a bit of a distraction.
Yeah. So anyway, he gets out to the truck, has Sabrina hot on his tracks, poking and prodding him.
Yeah.
That's annoying, wasn't it? Holy shit.
Ow, that stings.
And same kind of thing in the book, like scrabbling around for a long time with the bullets and all that stuff. Misses her to break the tension of the scene.
Yeah, because she goes running off.
Yeah, runs off. So now he finds the ID, and I think he knows right away that he's right.
Yeah.
So now you're starting to question, maybe the world isn't going to end if he doesn't do this.
Yeah.
He's not being illogical with this.
But right at this time where Andrew is kind of poking holes in this whole story, Eric is slowly more and more buying into it. And now he's seeing visions. And you can really see how he's just like...
There's something in the air, yeah.
You watch a lot of Eric observing the room. You get the feel that he's really feeling everything out, where he's thinking more objectively, where Andrew is just, running around just trying to save his family. He wants that gun. He's willing to...
Yeah, he's trying to defend.
These guys.
He's been training for years for this shit.
Yeah, where Eric is like almost right away convinced. And you're seeing this more and more in him.
Yeah, you're starting to see a change in him.
Yeah.
They go looking for Leo, runs off, runs into the bathroom.
And this is like another time where I thought of like Dave Bautista. I guarantee that guy could go and take the gun from that guy, and like he's just so huge. It was so funny to see him like run away and hide in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then they open the door and it's the window open. And I was looking at that window, I was like, he couldn't fit through that window.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And you do see the curtain move a little bit in the shower.
Yeah, classic shower curtain. Is he there? Is he not?
He takes the shot well.
You don't hear anything. Can't be anyone back there.
Yeah. And so then they have a little bit of a scuffle. Am I right?
You're right.
Does he get the gun at that point?
I'd say so.
In the book, in that scuffle, he gets it kind of as well, but then shoots Wen, killing her.
Who does? Leonard?
Yeah.
What? How does that make sense? How does this movie end? Because he kills her, so that doesn't save the humanity. And Sabrina's still alive?
Sabrina's still alive, yep.
And that's how the movie ends.
Movie? No.
That's how the novel ends.
No.
So it goes on with Sabrina. Does Sabrina come back?
Yeah.
So it's the four of them.
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, one of you have to kill each other?
Yeah, it doesn't quite take.
Yeah, it doesn't qualify.
Yeah, because it's got to be done as a sacrifice.
Unvalid.
Mm-hmm.
That would have pissed me right off. But Sabrina does come back.
So I guess I'll just tell you kind of what happens then in the book. Then we can say what happens, whatever in the movie.
Yep.
In the scuffle, Wen gets killed. There's a lot of remorse and that kind of stuff.
I don't like it.
But Sabrina comes back.
I don't like it.
She starts to get like less brainwashed and starts to kind of like things are kind of stacking up weird with Banya.
Yeah.
So she's a little bit reticent to all this shit.
In the novel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Because she's like that in the film. Kind of questioning if this is actually... Now she's in disbelief.
She basically... They kill Leonard in the book as kind of a group.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Too?
Sabrina starts to help them.
They adopt Sabrina?
They do adopt her. And she says that the keys were left under a flat rock. So she knows where it is. So they're going to go find it.
Don't like it.
To escape. And then she's there and she's digging around and finds the stuff. But then she also finds a gun, which Andrew also has a gun.
Bob.
She has a bigger gun.
Shootout.
More of a talk about. And then she pulls haphazardly, gives herself, pulls on the cashmere.
The Phyllis mask.
Yeah, that sable.
And she undoes herself?
Yeah, she gets like halfway through it and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Gives herself the kill herself.
Yeah.
And on alive. And then the Andrew and Eric are kind of debating, should we kill one each other? Should we kill one and then I kill myself?
They don't Romeo and Romeo.
Nope. They walk off into the woods and then it's a little bit ambiguous whether or not the apocalypse takes place.
They just go jump in the lake again. Boogie shoes.
It does play Boogie Shoes twice in the thing.
In the novel?
No. In my head, though, as I read it. Oh, and listen to the music. A little Doobie Brothers.
When was that playing?
At some point.
I'm sure. I'm sure it did. So,
Desperado.
Sabrina comes back.
Yeah.
And so 8 hours has passed.
According to Leo's broken watch that he found in the trash.
And it's time for another reckoning. So now Sabrina has to put on the Phyllis mask.
Mm-hmm.
And take the plunge. Still, they're still in the contest. They go outside. They see in the background, or no, I think they go back to the TV to see another newscast.
That was another thing oddly specific about the book, was it was describing specific episodes of Adventure Town and some other shows.
You see the first plane crashing in Latham, Massachusetts.
As they do.
And then you see
they fall from the sky.
A bunch of them coming down.
Yeah. You just normally don't hear about it. Hundreds happen a day.
It's raining planes. And, I guess that's a plague, too. I didn't know they had planes back when the plague was invented.
Well, let me tell you, Chicken Little. The sky is falling. How do you interpret it?
I don't know.
And you know what?
Just be like,
there's a point made.
You ever see those really low clouds that you just kind of drive through?
It's interesting that you mention the planes because it does have that sky is falling thing. And in the book, it's meant to be like if you like a cold reading psychic, for example. Like it's a general thing, like a horoscope. Like anything can be interpreted. A building falling, like if it's a skyscraper, anything like that can be considered like the sky is falling.
Yeah, a rocket for a mastermind. Actually, that's exactly what M. Night Shyamalan did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it was interpreted in the novel too. Obviously, planes.
Yeah.
Lots of planes crashing in Massachusetts.
All over the greater North America.
And then it seemed like 4 hours went by very fast.
Just flew by.
Because Leonard, before you know it, was out on the back deck. And, it gets kind of hard. I'm sure Sabrina in the novel could agree that, this whole kind of culty, ceremonious sacrifice is kind of hard by yourself. But he does it. Gives himself the old second smile.
It is certainly unusual to watch all the antagonists in a movie kill themselves.
I know. I thought it was so interesting to watch, like how this, like because it was almost like if strangers just let them go, and it was just what the hell, like if they're all dead. And the three just decided to just go off and then find out that all this was make-believe. It would just be like such a maybe more M. Night Shyamalan twist. But at the same time, it would have been like does that even make sense? Am I satisfied with that? Like, I don't think you would have been.
Yeah. Between Redmond killing himself first, like the O'Banya being recognized is like super unusual that they've ever crossed paths before, and this could all very much be a bunch of stuff leading up to it. But then you have, on the other hand, like a lot of, you can agree with both sides at different points.
Yeah.
He gives the Quaker to himself.
Yeah.
No, that don't work.
Hey, it's the future, baby. We can't help but time travel.
So sacrifice, it's a tradition, like sacrificing virgins to appease the gods.
We don't travel time. Time travels us.
Or a bris.
Takes a little too much off the top, I'd say. It's like someone flinched. All right, so Eric makes the call.
Hold on a second.
Finally, when all four are dead, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Sting, and whoever the other guy was, are all gone. There's no more four horsemen. And finally, a decision is made.
Woo!
That Eric might want to sacrifice himself for the greater good of humanity.
Might as well. Fuck him.
And did you see this coming at all? Because
as he was seeing the figure and as he was becoming more convinced, I thought he would fall on the sword. Yeah.
Because at points I was thinking that, especially, it seemed like they had some shots where he might have seemed a little jealous of the relationship that Wen and Andrew had. I guess it could work.
Not worth getting killed over.
I feel like at certain points, it seemed like Eric might kill Andrew. And I think this was the great thing about the twists, the lack of twist. You're thinking that it's going to be something like that. Eric's going to kill Andrew, or why would Andrew kill Eric? Why would they have to kill Wen? Because it blows my mind that they just killed her a stray bullet.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But
and she's like,
she said
it happens
at the start. She goes, it's confusing, but I have two dads, so I have to call them by their name.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a significance in two dads. So obviously
twice as many defenders.
She's gonna go down to one. But then another way of thinking about it is, and I don't know if it's bad on me, maybe these two realize that they should sacrifice the daughter. And what's fucked up, and I don't know if this might be a reach, I don't know if Paul Tremblay meant to put this in, but like, historically speaking, at one point, no child was more expendable than the Chinese daughter.
Yeah, they make a point of that.
So they don't make a point of it in the film.
No, not at all.
But it's definitely up for interpretation that you think, especially she's scared. Mm-hmm. So it's like she's defected. Like
defective.
One or the other.
Defected, kind of, because she's not living in China.
She's affected.
Effective.
And disinfected. But
Adventure time, baby.
There was a lot of variables throughout this whole thing of even like what is real when it comes to the horsemen. And that's what I got to say about that.
I didn't believe that girl had a daughter either. Her son.
Son?
Yeah. Seemed like bullshit that you just brought up.
Well, wouldn't it be really fucked up if the ending was that all these news reports were bullshit?
Oh yeah, but there's that point where he knows exactly what it's gonna say. Oh, in the book, as Sabrina's defecting, she explains how she got the message, what made her check the message board. That's important. So she was in her car, right? She was the doctor, or paramedic, or nurse, or whatever. And she would hear this sound that was like a cell phone in the pocket. And, like if somebody was talking and it was not on speakerphone, it was that subtle. She was like hearing these messages.
Which is like the number one symptom of schizophrenia is hearing voices.
She does go into like lucid detail on this in her experience. So it's not like she's out of her mind explaining it.
Yeah.
But then she goes and does herself in anyway. So what is the moral of this story?
I think there is a couple
listen to bullshit
morals to the story. Because
because the world will end.
Really, it's all about belief and it's all about faith. And it really ties into religion. And it's funny, they're like at the start, it's like, oh, it's probably Jehovah's Witnesses or something. Mm-hmm. Because they are very almost like how Jehovah's Witnesses present themselves at the start. Very like friendly, very passive, talking to you very softly. But then it becomes like very religious in a sense, even with the plague and the horsemen. But it's really trying to not fearmonger.
But it's interesting that you say that.
Make people believe in something that seems so irrational. Make someone believe that someone parted the sea, for example.
Yeah, I hate when people just try and tell you to just take something on face value.
Yeah.
Without any corroborating anything.
And then getting deeper into
doubling down.
The characters, the protagonists, they're being asked to save humanity, but there's a huge difference between homosexuality and religion. So it's the second little, we're supposed to save humanity, but humanity doesn't want to save us. So should we make this, why would we make this sacrifice for a bunch of people, that see us scarred?
Do you think this is going to make people more self-centered and like self-important, thinking they can stop the world from ending? Because can a few people stop the world from ending, Liam?
Well, we all got to work together.
Hands across America.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so I got a couple questions for you. Do you
Yeah.
think this would have been as effective if they were threatening an Armageddon?
a thing coming at the Earth.
Like, instead of end of the man, it's end of the world. So they're like, Bruce Willis and
Same
his,
difference to me, guy.
the guy banging his daughter are, in outer space right now.
That's Liv Tyler you're
got
talking
they
about.
got Buscemi. They got guy
He's out of his element.
guy from Remember the Titans. And shit might go south if you don't kill each other.
Unless you're coming back to Earth, you don't really want to go south
I don't know.
in a spaceship.
I've never held a compass outer space, guy. Okay, so my second question to you: Do you
Please.
feel that? Do you think the news reports took away from the seclusion of this story? Like, do you think there would have been anything added if there wasn't the? All right, well, let's check in. And it was all hearsay. And it's like, this is happening right now. And there's no tell of this being true. But they just kept going through this whole thing of killing each other every 4 hours.
I mean, I would not have felt for them at all.
Yeah.
I would have been happy to just watch them go. Little work on the on the part of everybody else to just like the second one when they braced themselves.
Yeah.
I'd probably start keeping my eyes open just to. Well,
Because-
you do what you got to do.
Yeah. Especially, and that's another thing why I was wondering when this movie came out and if it was news reports. Like, I was sure that this news report thing was probably like a modern day take on this on the novel. I didn't expect that to actually be in the novels. And, especially if this was a novel from the 80s or like earlier examples before the technology era.
No. Cell phone service sucks there.
Anything can get posted to the internet and it can be true or fake. So, like, it makes it very unbelievable to just believe everything, or it makes it hard to believe everything you see on TV. So does that kind of play into, why these people wouldn't believe it right away and say, oh, that's probably fake?
Well, they're
It's
looking
just
at the time differences. They're trying to break down the intricacies of each thing. They want to look at it logically so they can argue back to these people and convince them that the world's not ending. They want to find the flaws in their actions to stop them because they're just so hell-bent. Hell-bent is probably not what they are. The opposite. Life bent.
Heaven straight.
You just watched Knock at the Cabin. How dare you? Cabin at the end of the world.
Third question. Do you think
I heard a click.
this movie could have used Take Me to Church by Hauser?
Hosier? Is that how that's spelled?
I don't know if that's how it's spelled.
I don't even know. Is that somebody's song coming out? Batista? Ring entry music?
My lover's got humor.
John Jones? He come out to that?
John Jones. Should we talk about that off air? Shall we?
It's gonna be short.
Yeah. And we can't do an episode longer than a movie, so we have to do an episode shorter than the fight.
I almost felt like the movie was shorter than the period of time it took place over.
No, yeah, most movies are.
No, I meant like if it was like if they did 24 in 25 hours.
Look. It was 4 people times 4 is 16. It wasn't a full day.
The diner.
The diner.
Always ends in the diner.
Yeah. Wouldn't it have been funny if it's like that pan through the diner and then all of a sudden you see this peculiar looking couple and she jumps up on the table and, every one of you pricks move or I'll break every one last one of you.
What episode was that in?
Of Wu-Tang?
What are you talking about? Is that a movie?
Are we down?
It's what it's like waiting for the end of the world, isn't it?
Let's go see what it looks like outside. Oh, shit. Actually. So, let's just get this out now.
Redemption.
Between me, you, and Phyllis. If we had to make a sacrifice.
On the count of...
1, 2,
Shoot.
3. Oh. Why'd I take evens? Why'd I take odds?
Yes!
Okay, let's try it again. Potato Man.
No Potato Man.
Where's the potato at? Okay, give me some fries then.
Alright.
Yeah, you think we're bad at
Any
intros.
final thoughts for the reloaded ears out there?
You thought we were bad at intros. Check us out on this outro.
Nice redundancy. I'm gonna have to cut that.
Gonna have to cut this.
Why? Does slurping show up on camera? So yeah, listen to bullshit. Is that the moral of the story? Or no listen to bullshit?
That is the question.
But do you yearn?
It didn't make me believe in God as much as Life of Pi did.
I didn't even think that much about God, but it would have been more of a struggle if Redmond didn't know them before.
That's true.
If he hadn't already committed a crime.
It was kind of a plot hole.
It was kind of a plot hole.
It was unneeded. It was a black phone move.
Now that's something you can talk about over 10 minutes.
That part of Flashback was Ziggy's part in Black Phone is the personification of that whole subplot. Unneeded.
Any other questions about the book?
No. I'm thoroughly disappointed with the outcome of the book. And I'm glad that M. Night Shyamalan righted a couple wrongs. Righted a couple rights.
So, now that you know the other ending, do you think that this was a lot more sanitized with that Wen gets out and, goes to the diner at the end? It's more Hollywood.
It is more Hollywood.
It took the pain out of it. Gave it a happy ending. The other one was
and
certainly more ambiguous.
it's true. And that's funny that you say this because I just kind of killed off one of my Hollywood endings that I had written. But the way that you pitched me the novel, it would have been different if I watched it. But I definitely prefer the outcome, or even if it ended with the three, and that decision was different, I would have been happy with every other variable of the sacrifice out of the three. But I do not like Leonard getting killed.
And it not counting?
No, I don't like that.
It's all in vain?
Yeah.
But they kill the one person he's saying that he's going to protect her the whole movie.
I would have been happier with any other variable of the three at the end. But I don't like that they killed off Wen, and it was all for nothing. I don't like that Leonard got killed. But I think that was like a huge scene for the film, watching him, the final character, the first character that you meet out of these four, the most likable character out of the four, sit back in a lawn chair on the back deck, and like such a calm, like how someone would sit in a lawn chair to relax in the sun. What did you call it?
The Quaker.
The Quaker.
Yeah, I mean, that's conviction, man.
And, for Sabrina to be the last character, like, especially in the film, I didn't warm up to her very much. So, for her to be left after Leonard.
Was she still alive after Leonard in the film?
No.
No.
But in the novel, she was?
Oh, yeah. She killed Leonard.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't like it at all.
I mean, they all kind of gang up, but
yeah.
She's integral. And when she pulls out the gun, she's still saying, I didn't know it was here. And she said, I saw Redmond put the keys under here. I didn't see a gun. I don't know if Leonard put one there afterward. So I don't know if that speaks to premeditation. And again, because it did a good job of this thing, tipping the scales in either direction as much as possible. The movie did dumb it down a little bit. The book was definitely... I can understand your frustration with how it ends, but it does feel very effective and gives it strange stakes.
The way that Leonard's character is built compared to the way that Sabrina's character is built, there's no way that Sabrina should outlast Leonard, in my eyes. Unless, she probably got a lot more in the novel. But it just doesn't make sense to me going off the character building of the film.
Yeah, well, they're going out, I think they're gonna bury Wen or something. They're putting her out in the backyard.
In the pile.
Basically. And...
adding her to the pile.
And when Sabrina offs herself, immediately it's talking about how like the bugs are crawling all over and the flies are forming and stuff too.
That would have been some cool imagery to see.
Yeah.
Like even when Leonard killed himself, because that's the fourth part of the plague coming through. That if the bugs just started swarming him as the black clouds rolled in, the lightning starts hitting that would have been some crazy imagery. I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, in the plains, the sky falls after Leonard's death in the book.
Yeah. So, because in that order. So Sabrina's would have been the black clouds and lightning and stuff.
Pretty much.
No
diner scene.
So my third and final question to you. What do you think? Do you think there would have been a better variable to use as the ending that potentially would have made it more M. Night Shyamalan, or would have just made it a better film in your eyes in general, to get away from that Hollywood ending? Is there another twist or turn that you could think of that could have happened when it's just the three remaining characters?
That's a great question. The M. Night Shyamalan thing is kind of a trope, I think, of his, to end in a diner, or something to that effect.
Split ended in a diner.
That's what it was. And
Oh yeah, poor Bruce Willis shows up in the diner and is like, I pooped myself.
I think the movie...
I love you, Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing good, buddy.
Yeah, me too.
Buddy. I feel like he's my buddy.
Me too. You don't know how many times I've seen Die Hard.
I feel like he's very whole 10 yards right now.
Oh, I just finished Bong's book not too long ago, actually.
But, okay, don't get away from this question, man. This is how we're ending it.
So...
Give me another variable. Sell me on a different ending.
The most happiest ending?
No. We got the most happiest ending.
That's what I was going to just preface it with that. Existed. And I wanted to see old Lightseer go down by the end of the movie. In the book, I was pretty shocked, and I really respected, in a way, the way they raised the stakes with having that and having it not count and be in vain. So there's still more that needs to happen, and it begs that kind of question. There's no way that I really want to see Andrew go, because he worked so hard not to die and to come back from this experience. But maybe he could have done more work just shooting everyone else and then having the apocalypse just happen, just expediting it, maybe. Like, I don't think anyone would have had to die. Or some died before, but if he just shot everyone with the... He did shoot everyone.
How would you have felt?
He was an ass kicker earlier in the movie, wasn't he? Didn't he beat the shit out of them a little bit?
He was an ass kicky at one point.
Yeah, well, it happens.
How would you have felt if they killed off Wynn and were just like, we can adopt another child?
Just take that kind of, well,
do you think that would have been
gotta break a few eggs?
But do you think that would have been enough to be like, turn people off and be like, oh, I don't like this movie at all? Like, that's fucked up.
I do.
But at the same time, do you think that would have been a more effective film?
I think it would lean too far into one message.
That's the thing. You gotta stick to the script a little bit.
A little bit by the book.
All right, well, it's a lot late. So I had a good experience watching this movie again, talking about it with you and Phyllis.
Yeah.
Learning a bit about the novel.
Yeah, it was practically filled with nobodies, like an X or something. But
Truth.
That probably had more familiar faces.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not at all true. I take that back.
Well, 2.
Yeah. But...
Okay, we're going to end it here. Bring back Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Bring this shit back. We need some Mindhunter.
And good luck to Dave Bautista.
What the fuck happened to BTK?
I guess you'll have to look at real life.
I will not look up any Wikipedia. I want to find out what happened through Mindhunter. Through David Fincher's lens. Bring back the Finchverse.
Yeah. You want to see Dennis Rader opening that email.
Fuck yeah.
Sending those emails from the church.
Take me to church.
All right. Hold on. Let's do it with these.
Take me to church.